Morning, everyone. Let's jump right into it. Yesterday, we put the idea out there that if commodity prices went down, that could be bullish for the market. We explained all the reasons why, and look, lo and behold, what happened? Because early pre-market, we showed you natural gas, oil, all crashing below key levels, and then what happened was this. This is the 5-day chart on ARK versus USO. And this explains exactly what's going on. This is risk on as people were buying risk assets and oil was dropping below key support levels. And the dynamic behind that is simply, hey, maybe this recession won't last long, or maybe at the least we're going to avoid stagflation. So the bottom may be coming soon. And what bottoms out first is going to be the risk assets since they went down the most. So that's the story with that's what happened yesterday very clearly. So let me go in here and put back my indicators so I could show you some of those key technical levels in those charts. There is a very interesting day yesterday. So if we go back and here look at oil, we'll see for the first time it broke below the 20-week moving average since the war broke out. And yesterday morning, I also pointed out basically every other commodity is now below pre-war levels. Here's the agriculture over here. Actually, if you look at wheat specifically, you can see it's below pre-war levels. Corn, soybean, everything. Just trust me. Copper, I don't have time to go through them all, but everything is below pre-war levels except oil, still slightly above pre-war levels over here. I guess pre-war it was 66 on USO. Now we're at 75. But it broke below a key technical support level. And the whole question is this going to sustain itself? Are these lower prices going to sustain itself? If they are, I think it's very bullish for a shorter recession and possibly the bottom being in the market sooner rather than later. But that's a question. We don't know for sure, right? This could just be speculators who are shorting, going out on leverage, whatever it is, thinking this is the normal paradigm. This is the usual paradigm when you have a recession, all commodity prices crash, high prices. The cure to high prices is high prices. Prices go lower. Economy gets a little bit better. It's just a natural cycle of the economy. But again, when you have an exogenous impact like war or COVID, supply issues out of China, that could put a kink in that normal inflation. So I don't know the answer, right? I'm hopeful. I'd like to think that the price action we're seeing in commodities is going to mean a short recession and the bottom is in, especially for the risk assets. Again, ARKK is going to have a very hard time hitting a new low. Here's ARKK. Just at the same time USO was going below a key technical level, ARKK yesterday went above a key technical level, but there's been a couple fake outs. This is a 50-day moving average, and it's been above the 50-day over here, and it faked everyone out. But this 3510 level held last time we had a bear market drop while the major indices were hitting new lows. So that's the story with the risk assets. And I'm fully in stock picking mode, trying to pick off risk assets which have bottomed. But it doesn't mean, again, the major indices can't go lower. They can. They haven't even touched the 200-week moving average yet. And let me just warn here, potentially Apple. Let's see who it was. One of the analysts came out this morning. Where is it now? There was an analyst that came out this morning and put a 130 price target on Apple, lowered it from like the 150s or something like that. Okay, so we'll have to see. You know, maybe this rally can go for a while, and then you have earnings, and then maybe the generals and the mega caps have an earnings hit and takes Apple closer to my ultimate target of 100 to the 110s. I don't know why it's not showing here. On Apple, we are July 6th, and it's there somewhere. I don't know which analyst it is. You can check the news feeds. I don't know why it's here, but there's a $130, $130. Oh, Goldman Sachs. It was Goldman Sachs. That's why it's important. So Goldman Sachs put a 130 price target out there, and they probably are moving the market. I think this drop had to do with that report coming out from Goldman right there in the morning, and it's rebounded somewhat. So yesterday, again, was very interesting because it was risk on, ARKK, proxy for risk. What else is a risk asset? It's biotech stocks. And you can see XBI has been taking off. It's above the 50 DMA. You have a 2050 bullish cross. Can it go to the 200 DMA? Yeah, sure. 95. Ooh, double resistance there. I love seeing that. That could end up being a magnet at some point, potentially XBI 95. So that's what we're looking at now. I want to bring up TDOC. I mean, ARKK had a great day because TDOC over the 50 DMA for the first time since ARKK did it. So you never know, it could be a fake out, but TDOC over the 50 DMA. By the way, now value stock is Zoom. Man, all these stocks were up like 14% yesterday, 10 to 14%. Had a great day. This is an ARKK stock. It's a value stock at this point. So Zoom and TDOC really driving ARKK yesterday. But the reason I wanted to bring up TDOC is because of DRIO. So let me just bring that up for a second, and I'll go back up to the list. So DRIO is going to, I think, has some sector tailwinds now because of the risk on that I just talked about with ARKK and XBI, and specifically TDOC. They're in the same space, digital health. And DRIO was a little bit subdued here. I mean, it didn't go down as much as TDOC in the last week or so. So it's held up. But still, I think the action near the end of the day here, DRIO started moving, trying to catch up, I believe, with that risk on trade, catching up with the XBI trade and the TDOC trade. So here's what I'm going to tell you about DRIO. I started adding even more short-term trading shares yesterday, even some options, because I think the situation and the sentiment is such that DRIO can do well here in the next few weeks, even if we don't get that big announcement I want on time. I think DRIO potentially can move up and challenge the 770 level, even without that big deal. I was going through some of the numbers. In fact, I did have a conversation with management to figure out what is the impact of this deal if and when it actually comes. And, it really did solidify what I've been thinking, that this deal, if and when it happens, is going to be game changing, right? And my point here is that it's not priced in at all, even without this game changing deal, with all of the employer contracts they're getting and the momentum they're having with that. This is probably like a $15 to $20 stock. If we get this national employer deal on here, this real game-changing deal, you could be talking about a $30 stock in a year or two or less. So given that, I'm like, in the tailwinds of the sector I just talked about, I think DRIO is poised to do well even without that announcement. All right, let's not hang our hat on the exact timing of that announcement. So that's the story. That's why. A couple other stocks I want to show you. First of all, Apple, I told you about 130. We went through that. Okay, Celsius. I've had this. A little upset because I sold covered calls on this. I sold $70. Well, I did it for a few weeks in a row, so I've been making some money. But I sold $70 covered calls for like $350 last week, so that's $73.50. And now it's at $74.50. Unfortunately, I still cover calls in my entire position, so we'll have to see what I do there. I'm hoping for a pullback. I think, let me see when those expire. Expire in 9 days. So in any case, Celsius had an incredible day yesterday, above the 200 DMA. What a candle. Oh my gosh. I think maybe, hopefully, we can get a pullback and buy the 200 DMA support at some point at 66, but I don't know. That was a huge day with huge volume. And we know the fundamentals here are really good. The story is good. Super beautiful chart. I really wouldn't be surprised to see the stock over $100 later this year. So that's the story with Celsius. And okay, I wanted to point out, Cliff, CLF, because this is a stock that Polo brought to our community after earnings. And this is a call company. It's really pulled back. Earnings are ridiculously cheap, 2.3 PE. It's showing on here. This gets like the ESG penalty, but I'm bringing it up for two reasons. One, there's a couple analysts that downgraded it today, B. Riley and Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley price target 13, B. Riley price target 39. But check this out: 200-week moving average is at 1350. So I think, I talked about the other week, we got to learn to buy the pullbacks and not just the breakouts, because this has not been a good market for breakouts. So that being said, it's maybe time to be a little contrarian here with energy and commodity names. And in this case, this is call. It's down because of energy. So, we got to maybe look at stocks with really poor sentiment, out of cycle, and near technical support levels. And here's another support level, like, yeah, right around 13. 13, super, super great support level. I don't know if it's exactly going to touch it. It may be time to start picking up some CLF, maybe sell some cash secured puts on CLF. We're going to reach out to Polo today in the community and ask him what he thinks about CLF at this point. So that's an interesting one I noticed there. SMSI, we had an awesome meeting on this last night, VIP meeting, meet up with Brian Perlis. We can't really divulge what was said on the meeting, but he shared some great information, really get everyone to get a great understanding of SMSI. You can see now technically it's below all the key moving averages for now, but we are armed with the right information to know when that inflection point will come when it comes. All right, so that's the story with SMSI if you're a VIP member and you were on last night. All right, couple other things we're looking at. VTSI, it's been trying to break out some heavy volume. We got a big social media influencer been pushing it the last few days. We're waiting for possible news to come out with some government military contract award, possibly. You can see it's at a key resistance level right now. I've been selling some covered calls, $5 calls on that on a portion of my shares. So that's VTSI. We talked about DRIO. All right, I got some trading shares in XXII, AGRX, SMR, CYRN that I'd like to offload on pops. So we're looking at those, looking for those pops. XXII, another one brought to us by Polo. Great story, great pillars, I believe. Fundamentals, catalysts, and technicals. I picked this up at 2, reloaded after I sold. It's now 224. I think my target's going to be the 200 DMA at 238. And I also have some long-term shares I want to hold because it's a very interesting story. But as far as my trading shares, getting close to sell, who knows? Maybe we can get there today on XXII. All right. What else did I want to look at to sell? Oh, yeah. I got into this at 70 cents again. I think I'll be able to make a profit on it. I'm not like panic selling this because they repriced this at like 90 cents, the offering. Was it 90 or 95? Yeah, 90 cents, right? That repriced at 90 cents is offering from like 129 it was, something like that. So it's down. It's been like lazy down there, right? But I think the risk reward is decent for a short-term hold at least and get a pop. Definitely over 70 cents at some point. Let me just check out their peer that's been doing really well. EVFM, let's see how they're doing this morning. Well, yesterday they were up like 20%, but down slightly. Can you believe that's a 20% move right there? Such a volatile. So look at this range from 80 cents to 120 on the anyway, so yeah, I'm waiting for a pop on AGRX to get out of that. I think I'll be able to sell for a profit, so not going to take a loss on that on my latest 70-cent entry. SMR is looking good, I think. This is uranium. Uranium has been a little bit tough, the whole sector, because it's down with oil and energy, things like that. But this has reacted very well to the effectiveness statement, and I'm holding that. Love the technology. I have both core shares in my IRA and trading shares that I'll be selling on a pop. So that's where'd it go? SMR. Actually, my trading shares are not trading shares. I have the warrants, SMR plus. I'm right around this price, like in the mid 230s. So should hopefully be able to sell that for a profit soon. Thank God we got out of RIBT. We called that perfectly last week. That news that Russia wanted to hold back rice exports. I was like, that's not a real reason. That's a fake reason. But we knew it would run because social media thinks that's what the story was about. Really isn't. And man, I don't even know what's going on here. But I think I saw something. Haven't researched it, but the guy who was really pushing it, a few guys have been pushing on social media. I think they may have bailed, and they're waiting for some reverse split vote possibly before getting back in. But yeah, glad we got that story correct. It paid to listen to LD Micro presentation there to know exactly what are the catalysts for that stock. And the supply of rice, not really one of them. Okay. CERN, I'm still stubbornly holding on to this, waiting for a pop to 270 plus. I just think the downside is protected here. I know that thesis didn't work out for SEAC, but you're not going to get them all right. And there's a similar kind of situation where there's an acquisition or asset sale here that puts a floor on the stock price, fundamentally very cheap. What is that asset sale? It's gosh, it's about $1.15 cash they're going to be getting, it looks like. So I think it's trading at a negative EV if that sale goes through at $10.5 million. So very limited downside. Any catalyst can get you the spike I'm looking for to 270. So that's the story with CYRN. CFVI been very frustrating. Man, we're a little bit over time now. I started a little late. We're going to wrap it up in just a second. But yeah, whatever, man. What am I going to do? I got this in my IRA, and who knows? I either get the catalyst, make some money, or I don't. We got to monitor that situation there. All right, there's going to be obviously a lot of volatility once it does change over to Rumble, which I think will happen. This is not a DWAC situation. No investigations that I know of that are going to derail this SPAC combination from completing CFVI with Rumble. So that's the story. Still got LLKKF. We talked about that. I think this is simply down. Honestly, all the lithium stocks are down. LTHM, I think, got a downgrade this morning. Let's look at Livent. Look at this. It's same chart. So, they had that specific issue we talked about the CEO leaving, and that is not an issue. But right now, all commodities, all minerals, everything is out of favor, and that'll come back. I'm not worried about it. So LLKKF, still holding on to that. PLAB, got killed because of the Micron miss last week. And I checked my numbers. I told you yesterday I sold $17 puts on this, and it was $17.50 puts for 17 cents. So my break even $17. And that was my initial foray back into cash secured put selling. So hopefully I'll do more of that. So listen, if you have any stocks in the community you want to talk about, man, Chewy was amazing. Shoot, CHWY, man, I saw that. I was on it a little bit, kind of missed it. Anyway, in case, I'll maintain by Cliff, CLF maintains a buy B Riley. I think we call that chicken soup for the soul. Crackle plus extends partnership. Okay, not so interested in that right now. And got some Micron news. TDOC expands innovative whole person primary care offering. Agri, some agriculture stocks. Here's a cybersecurity stock, SFET, which seemed to have a good report, up 9% this morning. Might be worth a look to take a look at that report. But let's continue collaborating in the room. I think it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. So we're going to be doing a happy hour for our VIP members. Happy hour just means it's an open chat. Come on Zoom, talk about anything. Doesn't even need to be about stocks. Very informal get together. And sometimes we uncover great stock ideas and do collaborative research right on the screen in real time with share screen. It's pretty fun. So we'll do that 4:30 for VIPs today. Thank you for joining, everyone. Have a great day.